Hi, and welcome to Career Quest. My name is David Rogers with Goodwill, Northwest North Carolina. My guest today is JD Plagianis. He is the founder of Alpine Labs, an AI-based startup, which is currently in stealth mode, as I understand it. So we're getting some inside access here. JD, thanks for being here.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. This is the first opportunity I've really had to sit down and speak with an expert in AI, so pretty exciting. We will get into AI, but first I'm a little interested in your own story here. Can you tell us a little bit about how you became interested in AI or data science, and what was it that first sparked your passion, got you into this whole thing?
Happy to. My story goes all the way back with AI. I started my career as a robotics engineer in the DoD. So doing self-driving vehicles for the military, simulations, ended up going down to Texas to work for a defense contractor there, where I discovered the joys of process automation. This was a great opportunity for me because the defense industry is very much a jobs program. The more jobs you put in a district, the more money flows to your defense contractor. So if you automate everything at the defense contractor, nobody loses their job. So it's a wonderful place to explore automation, but at the same time, it doesn't scale, not nationally, not globally, not commercially. When I saw this impending problem with automation and job replacement, I pivoted my career more towards the data science side of things, or what we call now data science. I wish they'd called it that back then.
Sure.
The big paradigm shift for me in that transition was less of a focus on squashing the OpEx line and more of a focus on raising the revenue line.
Okay.
And that really got me into the world of startups.
Yeah, when you're talking about the world of government, you're not usually talking about the revenue line, right? So.
Well, technically, government does take in a lot of money, and it borrows a lot of money, and it spends a lot of money, but it doesn't focus on creating new value in the world that people are willing to pay for. Typically, it tries to give those services away for free to its citizens.
Okay. So I take it you've had an interest in this field for a long time.
Oh yeah, something years.
Did you foresee yourself taking the, making that pivot to be a startup?
Well, as soon as I found out how easy it was to create value that people were excited about, like one of my heroes is Willis Carrier, the guy who commercialized air conditioning. And the reason why is because I was living in Texas for 16 years of my life, where it's incredibly hot. And it would be completely uninhabitable as a state if it weren't for commercialized air conditioning. And yet that state has billions and billions of dollars that it contributes to our economy. Millions of people live in each of the cities. That would be completely impossible without air conditioning. We're all so happy to pay for air conditioning, right?
Right.
It's a new value that was brought in that people are willing to pay for, that changes the way we live and work and creates new opportunity in the world. That kind of transformation is what I have in mind whenever I go to a startup. How can I create that new value that lets us live better than we did before, where everybody's happy to pay money to purchase that value?
Sure. Yeah. And my experience with AI is rather limited, but even I realize that this is an unprecedented opportunity. It's a time that's ripe with opportunity for folks.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, actually, I am curious. I was going to ask this later, but I'll go ahead and ask it now. As far as seizing that opportunity, is there any advice you would offer to others who are currently looking at this situation and saying, I could maybe do a startup?
Yep. Now is actually the perfect time for this because of all of the free agents that are out there, free or nearly free, $20 a month subscriptions that are out there. You can build so much now that you couldn't build just 5 years ago. And you can do it without having huge outlays and expenses that get, you dilute your company by bringing in money. You can actually go do a lot of stuff, anything with strategy, anything with code that you want to do. you can do with AI today. If you want to make videos, if you want to make video games, if you want to solve a problem that you know from your corporate life at scale, this is the moment to do it. If you have the agency and the confidence to go and try something yourself, you should do it. If you are a people leader in your current role, you are probably going to be more naturally effective at using AI than someone who doesn't have that experience. Because the AIs that we have out there, the chatbots that everybody thinks of versus, the traditional stuff that lands your plane safely,
Sure.
you engage with it in a natural English-speaking way, typically, in the same way that you would engage with a new employee. You don't know how much you can trust it, but you give it tasks and you find out where it excels, where it doesn't. And you always look to hire people who are better than you at a thing.
Sure.
You don't want to be better than the people you hire. Otherwise, you're not actually bringing the bar up and you're sticking yourself into a role. So if you can find where AI is better than you at things and leverage it for those things, you can build an amazing world-class team for essentially the price of electricity.
Sure. And like Carrier, right? We're talking about advances that could really benefit society, right? And for all the for all the dystopian sci-fi that's out there about self-aware AI and that sort of thing,
Yes.
there obviously are some incredible uses for AI currently. And I'm curious, like when you're talking about steering it in that direction, and you're talking about leveraging AI to do the things that humans don't do well. My understanding of AI is pretty limited, but as I understand it, we're still pretty far away from any kind of self-aware AI. It's really just a really impressive large model aggregator, right? Where it can look at all this data and it can and even generate content based on what's out there. What are some applications that you see AI just being better at? And I think we can all kind of conceptualize it, but I asked somebody who's actually been on the front lines, what do you use AI for?
I use it for everything, every day. I probably use it 500 plus times a day, different services for different purposes, where I've learned to trust different services to handle these things. When you use the models that are out there today, they're all trained based on available data sets. So you think, where are the biggest data sets that we have available? Obviously, there's libraries full of data. So when it comes to writing in any style, these models excel. Every consulting paper that's ever been published in any industry is out there. It's in the training data. So if you want a strategic analysis of your business or the space that you're in, you can get it without having to hire an expensive consultant. If you want to write software, GitHub and other places, people have been putting their code out there for free for years. And these models are trained on that. So writing basic software, vibe coding essentially has become a national pastime, is my understanding, because it's so easy to just go create an app. The only programming language you need is English. You describe what you want, and just like telling a contractor 5 years ago, make me an app that does this thing, paying a bunch of money, and then getting the app that you can then commercialize, now you can just tell an AI to do that.
Sure.
And for the price of electricity, you get that app.
So you're, to that point, you're talking about accessing large depositories of data, right? And one place where there's a lot of data would be within healthcare, which I understand is kind of your specialty at this point.
Indeed.
So I'm curious, first of all, in healthcare, when you're talking about using AI, it means you're affecting real people's lives. So I'm curious how you approach it. How do you make sure that the technology is safe and fair and trustworthy?
Yep. In my previous life, I was the VP of AI at a large healthcare company, a Fortune 10 healthcare company. I was there for about 7 years. And during that time, I worked in their financial organization, I worked in business, and I worked in patient-facing space. And I can tell you that the worst data set that I have experienced in my 20-something years of career is healthcare data. It is a mess. It's fragmented. Just think about your own healthcare data. Where is it? Who controls it? Legally, you do. But do you have it at home? Maybe in a pile of papers somewhere, but it's not an easy electronic thing. You can't go to, the healthcare ATM and pull out your healthcare bucks. You don't even know typically, what insurer you have and what they cover. All of this stuff is obfuscated right now. The healthcare industry is enormous. And any improvements that we can bring to that space that make it simpler to do business, that make it more effective, will both positively impact patients and providers and payers and bring down the costs of healthcare for everybody. Yeah. So that's what we're after. Better healthcare for everybody, lower costs.
I'll be honest, that sounds a lot better than Terminator, right?
Indeed,
so
indeed.
I'm glad there are folks out there like you who are trying to steer this toward productive applications. I am curious. We'll wrap up the first part of our conversation here, but I am curious before we do that. I know that there are challenges in anything you're doing, whether or not you have the assistance of groundbreaking technology. What's one project or part of your job that you worked on that was especially difficult, and how did you find your way around that?
From the perspective of using data to solve problems or using AI?
I would say from the standpoint of starting an AI startup.
Oh, it's easier than it's ever been. So in the late 2000s, I had several startups. And to get to the point where I am today with Alpine Labs would have taken years of work. And I've been able to condense that down into months of work. So AI is an accelerator on all fronts for me. All fronts.
All right. Well, that sounds promising. Can't wait to dive a little bit deeper into AI with our next conversation. But JD, thanks for being here.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.